In the vast pool of side characters in Final Fantasy XVI, there are a few important figures that get swept under the rug compared to the characters in the core story of the game. In this video, I wanted to take a second to highlight a pair of them that have a compelling story to tell on the outskirts of the larger context of the plot. It's not the most flashy tale, or even involves the biggest obstacles for our protagonist to overcome, but it is a good bit of world building that shows the systemic effects of the larger events of the game. It does this in a way where we see what happens to everyday people just trying to make their immediate home a better place to be by playing a role in the business of society around them. So let's take a quick look at the tragic tale of Eloise and Theodore. Out of this duo, the first one we meet is the one known for running the show. When we meet Eloise, she is assertive, confident, and well aware of what she has to offer. In an unfortunate turn of events, Goots has had his trader's pass stolen by street urchins, and can no longer be Clive and Jill's ticket to crossing a border. Goots suggests the use of his old friend Eloise to help them, seeing as how she is the most familiar with the people of this area, and uses her business, the Crimson Caravans, to move products and people. Her insight into the political conflicts leading to the need for these passes to cross the border lead her to deduce that these passes are not just being stolen for use by commoners, but are being sold to people with the means to doctor them for repurposed use. She obviously has a strong sense of justice about her when she takes a clear stance on the issue.
Whoever they are, they're ruining the livelihoods of honest merchants, which is why we've decided to take a stand. Will you stand with us? You want to get your pass back, and we want to ensure that no more are stolen. Catch whoever's behind it all, and two birds shall be slain with a single stone.
Eloise's first recommendation is to talk to some local merchants to get a better idea of who might have taken the pass. This, of course, eventually leads to questioning the local street kids, and eventually finding the ringleader of the bunch. After cornering him, Clive is able to extract the name of the gang, using the kids to steal for them. In the midst of making progress, we get to meet the more brash muscle of the pair of characters this video is about. Theodore's introduction shows us he also has a protective sense of justice, like his sister, but instead of communicating with words, he jumps to conclusions about people's motives, and takes a more physical action to confront it. He confuses Clive for the very gang that they are hunting, and tries to save the children from exploitation. Luckily, Goots knows Theo as well, and they can come to a quick understanding. We finally get our first insight into the relationship between the pair, and how Theo feels like he fits into his sister's world.
Eloise didn't tell us she had a brother.
And why would she? I'm just a back and a blade.
Obviously, he puts himself down as a mere assistant to solving problems, but he obviously is proactive like his sister in investigating things. In fact, he is the one that helps you track down the gang and take back the stolen goods. His sister is obviously not giving him the affirmation that he needs, because he ends this quest saying to you,
"Oh, and be sure to tell her of the part I played, won't you?" "We'll be glad to."
This lack of full trust and respect for Theo's abilities is echoed by Eloise when the next thing she says to Clive is,
"How goes the hunt? My brother isn't getting in your way, I trust?"
Quite the opposite.
As a woman so capable and independent, you'd think she would see her brother's proactiveness as a good quality, but there is a tension there where she cannot quite see him as his own capable man. When he comes back with Goots' pass, there is a slightly passive-aggressive exchange between them, as if she is concerned about Theo's involvement.
Speaking of whom, welcome home, dear brother.
You are too kind, Eloise. Here, Clive. Goots' pass. Ask him to keep a closer eye on it from now on, would you?
I will. Thank you.
El, I've asked our boys to carry the rest of the goods back. Can I count on your help in sorting through it all?
Of course. I'll make some space in the storeroom.
We do get some more insight into the history of their relationship in this conversation, though.
We at the Crimson Caravans are always happy to help those in need. For a small fee, we will move anything that needs moving. Be that goods to market, or bearers away from it.
I was the first my sister helped escape. If it wasn't for her, I'd have been branded as a boy.
I had no idea.
It just so happens that we are seeking to expand our operation. And who better to join forces with than the leader in the field? Wouldn't you agree, Theo?
I would.
We can see that perhaps Elle is not necessarily distrustful of Theo's abilities, but protective of one of the first bearers that she saved from slavery. Interestingly, the next task Clive does for these two involves creating space for more bearers that they are trying to free. During the negotiations for these slaves by Eloise, we see Theo listening from afar, and what he has to say about the conversation shows some concern in his voice. Even though he does not go into detail, he asks Clive a simple request that seems similar to his last interaction before meeting up with Elle.
But Clive, don't tell her I was watching her, will you? She'll only get upset.
After being thanked once again by Eloise, we finally get a more comprehensive idea of why there is a tension between the siblings.
The man I was watching earlier, the one speaking to my sister, he represents the Silver Peak Consortium. It's one of the bigger trading houses.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Well, every trader in Dharmekia has. They operate across the length and breadth of the Republic, and they're still expanding. They've been trying to get Eloise to join their ranks for some time now, and judging by her reaction earlier, I'd say she had half a mind to accept their latest offer.
And you'd rather she didn't?
I would rather she did what makes her happy, and I would never deny her such an opportunity. Eloise saved me from slavery, and we have striven to save others like me ever since. But this was not the life my sister wanted, nor the one she deserves. I won't let her give up on her dreams again for my sake. She freed me from my bonds, and she must be freed from hers in turn.
We at last understand why Eloise feels a responsibility to handle everything herself, and why Theo is a bit frustrated that she won't let him handle the parts of the business he feels like would be better suited to someone that came from his situation. He does this out of a love for his sister's dreams, and wants to take care of her, just like he wants to take care of the bearers, and much like he wanted to take care of the kids when you met him. He has a protector's spirit, and Clive says better than anyone what we're all thinking when we learn Theo's motives.
You're a good man, Theo.
The next time that Clive helps these two, there are yet more issues with freeing the slaves.
Is something wrong?
Bonnie came to give me a message from our intermediary. The talks with the Republican Army have fallen through. They've reached an agreement with the Silver Peak Consortium instead. Though prices have fallen of late, we deliberately offered above the going rate to try and deter other bidders. But the Consortium offered double what we did, and the Army jumped at the chance.
And you had no opportunity to make a counteroffer?
None at all. And we were so close.
She goes on to accept Clive's help, in the form of being her bodyguard, while negotiating through the situation. Unfortunately for Theo, he is put on guard duty for the new space to house the slaves. Obviously, this continues the trend of Elle trying to protect Theo, and Theo being annoyed that he cannot take on more responsibility. However, he does acknowledge his sister's ability to get things done well.
Well, it looks like I'm following orders till she gets back from meeting the Silver Peak Consortium, who've been doing their best to undermine our scheme. She'll never join them after this, surely. No, she said it herself. She still has plans for Cashlock, even if this one falls through. She means to stay with us then. I can't say I'm not happy to hear it, but is this what she really wants?
You have to trust her.
You're right. It's what she wants now. And if Elle's off fighting for the cause, I should do my part too.
Theo's commitment is admirable, and you can see why he trusts his sister, as she confronts her competition.
You wish to consult with me?
I did. It's about the bearers you recently purchased from the Fist. We had all but finished making arrangements to buy them ourselves, and then you stepped into the fray.
You misunderstand. The consortium had an interest in purchasing them from the very first. It was only our regard for you that kept us from bidding. But your hesitancy in accepting our offer to you suggested that the regard was not mutual. And so we resumed our business.
I did not hesitate. I am simply not inclined to make such decisions without first giving them due consideration. But what is done is done. Come then. How much do you want for them?
Alas, you are too late yet again. We rarely take on such unconventional merchandise without a purchaser in mind. The bearers belong to him now.
Who is your buyer?
A trader from across the water. A most demanding fellow, if it's any consolation. He insisted the bearers be fed, dressed, even given their own bunks for the voyage over. That's what you get when you deal with continental types.
I wouldn't know.
Oh yes, the culture on the continent is quite different to ours. They pay good money for bearers not fit for the knacker's yard, and treat them like kings. But as long as they pay...
That does sound unusual. No matter then. If they've already left our shores, there's little that can be done. Allow me to withdraw my interest. And with it, my interest in joining your organization.
My associates will be sorry to hear that.
She might not have been able to get what she wanted, but stood firm in her negotiating demands. In a way, her goals were completed by accident, as these prisoners seemed to be going to a better life anyway. But we soon get to learn the unfortunate consequences of her not trusting her brother to join her in these negotiations. There has been a dragon attack on the area that Theo is guarding, and he has been fending it off to ensure the safety of others there. Clive, with his powers, is able to actually handle the situation, but some problems he cannot solve.
Theodore, you had me worried for... We have to get you out of here.
I think it might be a little too late for that. Bearer or no, there's only so much ether a man can take, and that Drake just wouldn't let me leave. You have my thanks, Sid, for finishing what I could not. For keeping Elle's dream.
Theodore! Don't make me do this.
Stop it, Theo! Stop!
Eloise's worst fears have been realized. She could not protect her brother from the world forever, but she fully can see now that it was him taking care of her this whole time.
Theodore.
Take care of my sister.
Theodore. Wait.
Goodbye, Elle.
Ironically, if Clive was sent to do this job, Theo would have survived and been able to play the supportive role that he wished to play. The weight from the regret that Eloise has must be so heavy. After some time has passed, we are able to see her reflect on Theo's role and his character.
That was true bravery he showed. Leading the dragon away from the village like that. His first instinct was always to protect people. To put others' well-being before his own.
And now he's gone. Because I sent him to that place, against his will.
It wasn't against his will. He was ready to do whatever it took to show you he could stand on his own. So that you would finally be free to live your own life.
To live my own life? He never could come to terms with the choice I made.
What exactly happened? You once told me Theo was the first bearer you ever helped.
We grew up in Canva. We were born to one of the great trading houses. And I was chosen to inherit the family business. I had my father's head for figures, you see. Theo did not. While I studied the art of commerce, he played at soldiers instead. A late bloomer, in more ways than one. For unlike most bearers, it wasn't until his 15th summer that his powers awakened. My parents tried to drive him out of the house and into the care of the constables. But before they could, I took him into mine.
Theo told me something else. He clearly admired your devotion to the cause of freeing others like him from slavery. But he said you deserved a better life than this. He wanted to free you from what he called your bonds, just as you freed him from his.
I would be lying if I said I had not wondered from time to time how much easier my life might have been if I had allowed Theo to be taken and devoted myself to the family business instead. But I have never regretted the decision I made. Being with my brother meant more to me than tradition or reputation. I only had to look at him to remind myself of that night and the choice I made and the fact that I would make the same choice again in a heartbeat. He was never a burden. How could he even think that? If anything, I was the one who weighed him down.
You weren't, Eloise. He said it himself, that he had always been grateful to you for saving him, and that he wanted to repay you by letting you live the life you were denied. Neither you nor Theo weighed each other down. You loved one another. You did whatever was necessary to continue living your lives together, and you always would have.
You're right. All I ever wanted, all I ever did, it was so we could be together. Oh, Theo, why did you have to...
A truly tragic outcome. All she wanted was to share her brother's freedom with him, and extend that to others. As a testament to her strength, however, she continues on the legacy of her brother by continuing to protect and move others out of harm's way. There is a weight to this story that cannot be understated. It is a story of love and a desire for protecting others, as well as standing up for justice. Theo taught Elle that this was a cause worth giving up everything for, and that the what-ifs of life pale in comparison to the fulfillment of responsibility that comes with following one's convictions. The story of these two is sad, but beautiful, and shows us that strength is not just found in the larger-than-life main characters of the game, but in the stories of smaller characters along the way. Thanks for watching another Final Fantasy XVI video, everyone. It's been fun digging back into the footage of this game I played a while back, and I look forward to more videos about this wonderful cast of characters. If you would like to see those, subscribe for more things to come. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, a like would be appreciated. And tell me what you thought about this side quest down in the comments below. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you for coming to the Dutch Ritz Party.